Hello everybody, Sir Beaton here and welcome back to another past paper practice video. In this video I will be tackling some matrices questions. So let's head straight into this video. So this question says the matrix L is equal to x4 1x. So the first one says calculate in terms of x the determinant of L. So let's find the determinant of L. So the determinant of L would be, the formula is AD minus BC. So AD would be x multiplied by, this is A, this is D, so it's x multiplied by x. Subtract B, which is 4, multiplied by C, which is 1. So x times x would be x squared minus 4 times 1 would be 4. So the determinant of L would be x minus 4. Now the next part says calculate the values of x given that L is singular. So when a matrix is singular, that means the determinant of that matrix is 0. So if you want to calculate the value of x, we already have this for the determinant, x squared minus 4. So for part 2 now, all we need to do is x squared minus 4. All we need to do, this is the determinant expression, all we need to do is equate this to 0. So you can equate this to 0 and we solve. So this would be x squared is equal to, we take over the 4 to become positive 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. And then we take over the square to become square root. So x would be equal to the square root of 4. And it says calculate the values of x. It means we have more than one values for x. So when we take the square root of 4, we will get a positive 4 and a negative 4. When you square root any number, it will be the positive and the negative of that number. So you can say therefore x would be equal to negative 4 and x is equal to 4. And the next question says the matrix M is equal to 3, 1, 2, 6. Find M inverse, the inverse of M. So you want to find M inverse. So to find M inverse, it's 1 over the determinant multiplied by the adjoint. So let's find the determinant first of all. So the determinant of M would be AD minus BC. So A would be 3. So it would be 3 multiplied by D, which is 6. Subtract B, which is 1, multiplied by C, which is 2. So 3 times 6 is 18 minus 1 times 2 is 2. So 18 minus 2 would be 16. So the determinant of M would be 16. Next thing, the adjoint. The adjoint of the matrix 3, 1, 2, 6 would simply be, we switch these two, so we'll have 6, 3, and then we flip the signs of these two. So you'll have negative 1, negative 2, and this would be the adjoint of the matrix. So to find the inverse, it would be 1 over the determinant, which we found to be 16, multiplied by the adjoint, which is 6, negative 1, negative 2, and 3. So M inverse would therefore be 16 multiplied by everything here. So this would be 6 over 16, negative 1 over 16, negative 2 over 16, and 3 over 16. And this would be simplified to M inverse is, we can divide this. This will be 16 divided by 2 is 8. This will be 3 over 8. This will be negative 1 over 16, remain as that. And 2 ones 2, 2 into 16, 8. So this will be negative 1 over 8. And then this one will be 3 over 16. And this would be the inverse of M. So part 2 says, hence, calculate the value of x and y for which M multiplied by x, y is equal to 12, negative 8. So this is the matrix M multiplied by x and y. So part 2 would be the matrix M multiplied by x times y is equal to 12, 12, negative 8. So we know the matrix M is 3, 1, 2, 6 multiplied by x, y, and this is equal to 12, negative 8. So what we need to do, we need to take over this here. When we take over this matrix, and we take it over here to become the inverse of what is here. So I now have x, y is equal to, now instead of using the inverse, the final answer for the inverse, I will use this here, in which I have to calculate the inverse, because I don't want these fractions, I don't want these denominators. So before I arrive at these denominators, I will use 1 over 16. So it will be 1 over 16 multiplied by the adjoint, which is 6, negative 1, negative 2, and 3, multiplied by 12, negative 8. So now I can work this out. At the end of it, I'll multiply my answer by 1 over 16. So I'll multiply this here by this. So it will be row by column. So it will be row by column. So it will be 6 times 12 plus negative 1 times negative 8. Then it will be negative 2 times 12 plus 3 times negative 8. When I work this out, I'll now have 6 times 12, 72, plus negative 1 times negative 8 would be a positive 8. And this would be negative 2 times 12 is negative 24, plus 3 times 8 would be a negative 24. 3 times negative 8 would be a negative 24. Hence, this will be simplified to 72 plus 8 would be 80. And negative 24 plus a negative 24, this is like a negative 24 minus 24 would give me a negative 48. And then I have to multiply this by 1 over 16. And this would be 80 over 16 and 48 over 16, negative 48 over 16. And this is what x, y would be equal to. Hence, the value of x and y, x, y would therefore be equal to 80 divided by 16, that would give us 5. Negative 48 divided by 16 would give me a negative 3. So therefore, I can say x is equal to 5 and y is equal to negative 3. And these here would be our values for x and y. And that is how we answer this question. So you could have used this here to multiply the 12 and negative 8, but that would be harder because of these fractions that we have in here. So I brought it up back to this step and I multiplied it by this piece, and then I multiplied my answer by the 1 over 16, because if I have 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 5, it doesn't matter the order in which I multiply, I'll end up with the same answer. If I multiply these two 4s and then multiply the answer by 5, I'll get the same as if I multiply these two and then multiply my answer by 3. So that is what I basically did. And with that, this has brought me to the end of this video. So I trust that you have a good understanding of how to answer questions like these, and I'll see you in future videos in which I'll be tackling some more questions. So keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.